Rig Zekelberry, of course, Chief Executive Officer and founder of OriginClear. You have a proprietary technology. We have to talk about the technology before we even start. I tell this story quite a bit. What I say is, I use the ammonia story.
Yes.
The element that is the most difficult to remove from water is not your 3-year-old's red ring in the pool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? It's ammonia. All right?
Which that's what that
so,
is.
in other words, if you're
That's
trying
what
to
fish
clean,
do.
well, maybe that's probably true.
Wait a minute.
If you're trying to make
acid.
potable water, for example, the oil business is really the water business because they pump in the water, oil comes out, and all that. So now you got a bunch of dirty water.
Yes.
It takes weeks to clear this stuff. It takes literally 3 weeks to clean ammonia out of water. Rig Zekelberry and his scientific brother Nick have created a technology, electrostatic water treatment.
Electro-water separation.
Electro-water separation.
Right.
They can
Let's
take
get off on a
ammonia out of
tangent.
water, not in 3 weeks, not even in 1 week, in seconds. This is why this is so robust. Honestly, I joke, but the technology piece of this is really robust.
Yeah. So there's really tough things to clean.
Right.
You know, such as landfill black water, right?
God.
Or the stuff that palm oil residue and swine manure.
By the way, did you know there was a swine industry, cleanup industry? So in other words, when they're making pork bellies and they're feeding them grain and stuff
Comes out.
and then suddenly.
So if you want a happy pig, you buy some of that, you put them in it because you're as happy as a pig.
The problem is that what goes in must come out, right?
You're right.
And that leaves a serious problem with the water.
It's laden. This is stuff that's like mud, right?
God.
Yeah.
Somehow you got to separate the solids from the water, and if you don't, guess what? All your membranes and filters clog up.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So what they do instead, they just throw it away. Literally, they leave it untreated throughout the world.
And you could use this water potentially by cleaning it up.
Of course.
Gray water, watering
Not only
stuff.
that, but the solid part is fuel.
Yeah.
You could run a whole bioenergy thing
But
off
what
of it.
about just, you squirt it out into a field, now you got fertilizer and water.
That's good too.
Yeah.
But here's the
That's
thing,
what
there's a
Russell's got
lot
new
of it.
business.
Do you know how much there is of that stuff?
Is there a division for us over here?
It's vast amounts. It's hundreds of square miles of manure, if that's what it was.
That's just gross.
So you have to figure out a way.
Yeah.
Separate out. Our process takes extremely dirty, extremely oily water and pulls out the solids and oils, leaving clear water without chemicals. And that is a breakthrough.
This is what's interesting, though, and I have to say this, is that you're not in one industry, you're in 5 industries or 10 industries with the same technology. And
Here it
that's what's
comes.
really interesting, because you're not just in the oil industry and just in the water cleanup industry. I can't even count how many industries.
It's why we decided to license. Because the market will find the applications for you if you say, look, here's the technology, what's your use for it? Oh yeah, I can use it for X. And you wouldn't even have thought of it until they came along.
Isn't that like a Dolby thing?
Boom. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ray Dolby.
explain
Dolby.
Dolby. When you bought your Blaupunkt or you bought your Pioneer stereo for
Yeah,
your
yeah.
new pickup truck,
Right.
there's a Dolby button, and what
Yeah.
it did is it took all the hiss out.
So they put that technology into whatever, from radios, headphones, or
Yeah.
stereo. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you do that too.
So anyway, so you can take this technology and integrate it into your existing water cleanup system. So all of a sudden, you don't have to use all the chemicals.
Yeah.
Your bill with Halliburton goes way down, and that's a big deal.
Okay, so my question would be this. So and we got plenty of time today, so I want to kind of delve into this. So if you have a technology that can clean water in this country industrially, imagine what you could do worldwide when there is a pandemic, for example, or epidemic in China, for example, and they've mandated this water cleanup. Talk about how the intersection.
Well, it's a very good point you make, because we found our traction outside the U.S. The U.S. is a very slow adopter for new technologies. You'd think they'd be fast.
Yeah,
no, we're
the
super
spear type.
complacent. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
don't
yeah.
need new stuff, right? We're good. Like the housing industries, we still make stucco and wood houses, right? Well, the same thing in water. So what we did is we put out our PR to the world, and people would have put up their hand and said, I got a problem. And all of a sudden we were in Malaysia and China and Thailand and China, in India, in Oman now, Algeria, Spain. We couldn't have gone there on purpose. These people had to find themselves and identify themselves. And so that led to traction for this interesting technology. So that, for example, let's say in Malaysia, they got super excited because they have a problem with palm oil residue. Very nasty stuff. It was going into the rivers, clogging them up, and of course creating all kinds of bacteria.
Palm oil, you're saying?
palm oil,
Right. Because you take the palm nut, you crunch it, out comes the oil, and you throw away the rest. It's a slurry.
Right.
The slurry was going down the rivers, and clogging up the ocean and
And
everything.
this is an organic material
Yeah.
that's clogging it. So what this happens is, and you said at one point, I can't remember when you told me this, but in the next 2 years, it's going to be a $1 trillion business, industry, market.
The global water service industry by 2020 will be a $1 trillion industry, and that it was $500 billion just in 2010.
So
in
if
a
all the
decade-
water were properly treated, what does that translate into dollars?
Okay, now
Because that's an important
dig
question.
this: 70% of all industrial wastewater is never treated at all.
Wait a minute. So,
Seven.
Not at all.
Yeah.
really?
80% of all raw sewage is never treated, and in some countries, 95% is never touched.
Why do we all think? So why do we all think that we're living in this cleaner environment now?
It could be a $5 trillion industry if we actually took responsibility.
Yeah.
Which is why I launched Water Chain.
Yeah. So water. So let's get to water chain in the next segment because this piece of it's very important. Business model wise, you used to be, I don't want to call it sticks and bricks, but you would take these things to oil sites. Now you're just licensing it, right? To water
Yes.
companies.
Well, licensing is the only way
Domestically.
you're gonna get spread. Now the
Right.
the issue with licensing is that it's relatively slow.
Right.
Because people got to license it, and they got to build it, and they got to sell it, and they got to collect, and you're waiting for the royalty, right?
Right.
Takes a while. So that's why we started acquiring companies that are actually complementary technologically.
Like who?
Okay.
Like what?
This wonderful one called Modular Water.
Okay.
Modular Water Systems is a way to have drag and drop prefab localized water systems. Boom.
So let's pause on OriginClear for a second. Let's move over to the water chain. What are you doing with?
Well,
water
we
chain?
went through 8 years of hell to
Right.
get our and the water industry in fact takes
Sure.
12 to 14 years normally to accept new technology.
So that's the adoption rate for.
It's ridiculous
Yeah.
because by 2030 there's going to be a 60% demand gap for water. Literally, there's this huge gap which is the water that won't exist for people's demand, right?
Because I remember as a kid,
Wow, no, that's
60%.
scary.
I remember as a kid going into a 7-Eleven not being able to find a bottle of water to drink.
Thank you.
At all.
Not only that, by 2030, imagine that multiplied a millionfold.
yeah.
I'm trying to take 7-Eleven single bottle of water.
So we're going to have to make better use of the water that we have and some of the gray water
No,
that's created.
here's what we have to do. Right now, centralized water doesn't work.
And what is centralized water? What does that mean?
Those big municipalities that do that magical thing with water,
Oh,
in the U.S., they're broken. The water mains are busting out all over.
Like Flint.
Exactly. In developing countries, they don't even exist.
Yeah, wow.
It doesn't even exist. So what do? Remember landlines became cell phones?
Right.
And American Tower, it was a 200x gain because of the cell towers.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happening with water.
Oh yeah, because you don't have Pacific Bell anymore and your phone ringing at
Right.
home.
No.
Anymore.
In Mexico, it's all cell phone, right?
Right.
Or Peru or whatever, Africa. Same thing with water. The whole centralized system's being bypassed, and now it's localized water treatment
Okay.
at the school, at the factory, the agricultural
My
site.
goodness. Wow.
Oh,
right?
so if you're using it inside, it comes outside, gets cleaned up.
Now, here's
used
what I'm
back?
showing you. These machines have been developed, and this is a division of our company called modularwater.com. And what these are is drag and drop prefab systems made of this special pipeline.
right.
And you take this pipeline sections. Dan Early invented this. Doesn't have to be a pipeline. You can see it can be
Yeah.
slab containers. But basically, this is water systems in a box. This is the new thing.
And how much will this clean in relation to how many of these?
Any size you want. These are probably 30,000 gallons a day units. They can be much more. They can be, some of these are it was just delivered to the LA courthouse. So that's a pump station right there you see. So what these are is wastewater treatment systems that can be built ahead of time in the factory instead of dug with concrete and steel
Right.
on
Huge.
site. They're prefab.
drag
This
and
guy is
drop.
the Henry Ford of water.
Yeah.
And you got them.
Boom.
These look a lot better than the first couple you showed here on the show. You know, your
Well,
first, you drag out to the.
Well, this is
different thing, though.
this
Yeah.
is packaging, right?
Right.
What
Right.
we've had is core technology, which is not meant to be packaged. What this packages anything, whether it's desalination, whether it's electrowater separation, chemicals. It doesn't care.
Right.
It's a box. It's like a home for water treatment, right?
Yeah.
So what these systems do is deliver exactly what you need, and you just say, well, this is what I want, and they'll go, okay, in 30 days you'll have it, trucked on site, make a hole, drop it in, you're done.
Would I have one at my house? Is it?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, is that where it's going?
Of course, at the lowest end, yes. But let's just say that currently, what these systems are is for like a community center, right? A real estate development.
Right.
That's off grid, and they don't want to connect up to the sewage system. It's
No.
going to cost them $5 million. So they just built a system with a simple wastewater treatment system that generates potable water. Problem solved.
Okay. So the interesting part is the last mile solution is what you're creating here. The last inch solution is when you start building new homes, just like in the state of California, they've mandated solar. Okay, so new homes have got to be retrofitted with solar in the state of California.
This can't be far behind.
Well, this can't be far behind, right?
Well, absolutely, because more and more, and especially since you can't have septic tanks anymore, right?
And this is not an environmental wacko kumbaya thing. This is a natural resources thing. Like you're running out of water, and you live in the desert anyway, so you better figure out a way to treat it, right?
Right. Well, we're putting housing developments either on precious farmland or on desert. Either way, it's unsustainable, and it's a way, right? Now, how do you connect it up? Well, you don't have to connect it up. Forget connecting it up.
Forget it.
Just be off grid.
Yeah.
Just like solar.
So now you got solar energy to power your little neighborhood, and then this
the water treatment,
like
you recycle all your own water.
Wow,
Everything's
I'm
good.
moving.
Right. OriginClear is a publicly traded company under the stock symbol OCLN, OriginClear.com. Water Chain, do we call that a wholly owned sub, or is that a partner?
Correct. Now, Water Chain, we've been incubating for 6 months, and it's basically ready for launch. And what this is, because of this adoption process being so slow, I said, there's got to be a faster way.
Yeah, let's just create a company to do
Then,
it.
what happened in Q4 of last year is I made too much money on crypto.
Oops.
Cryptocurrency.
And I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting.
The mystery of cryptocurrency.
I got excited, and sure enough, this is the transforming factor, is frequent flyer miles are a currency, right?
Okay, yeah.
Well, you can create a currency for anything now.
That's good, yeah.
We have one for water.
So that's the cryptocurrency under Water Chain.
Now the concept is Uber for water. We can bring new people into the water industry as water entrepreneurs to satisfy the unmet need that I told you about. 70% of all water never treated at all.
That's right.
That's what new water entrepreneurs in the Uber for water
What's going
system.
to happen when you get a phone call from the Department of Resources in a pretty big country saying you have the only thing that's going to fix it? I mean, this is potentially a huge business for a company that's based in the U.S. Are there plans to license this technology internationally? Is that what's going to happen?
Well, are you talking our water technology or water chain? I mean, the different
Water
place.
chain. Water chain.
Well, water chain is very simple. It's a wallet. It's a wallet.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
All right. Rig Zekelberry, CEO and founder of OriginClear. A lot of breaking news on that website. It is a leading provider of water treatment solutions. Their technology, breakthrough water treatment. And of course, decentralized water funding at waterchain.io.
The Uber for water.
The Uber for, see, that's
Yeah.
You don't really remember